Because I don't want to cut you off, but I didn't want to cut you like halfway through that whole thing.
You're okay. You're okay. It's cool.
But all right, sweet.
All right, continue.
Yeah. No, there we go. We were talking about your live bears.
So yeah, I've worked with fish literally since I've had fish since I was 4 with my family. I'm 54, so it's literally been 50 years.
Nice.
Over the years, I've bred a lot of cichlids, things like that. 6 years ago, I discovered goodeids, and now the majority of my room is goodeids.
Goodeids, all right, good stuff. Sorry for the cheesiness there. The reason I asked is I just got a hold of got a hold of some tequila split fins, and then I recently just joined my my local like live bear club, and that's like been my my kick lately. So I like learning about all the live bear people and learning about all that stuff. So
yeah. Tequilas are one of my favorites. I have probably 5 breeding colonies of them right now.
Oh, very cool.
When your guys get accustomed to your water and stuff, and they go into breeding dress, those males will almost go black with a bright orange tail.
That is what I'm looking for, man. Because the first time I saw them, I was like, oh, I need it. And
some of them I have right behind me and down below are in breeding dress right now. So.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, all right. Let's intro us here real quick. All right, guys, this is the Inside Splash.
This is the Inside Splash, Chicago's premier aquarium podcast. Let's give it up for our hosts, Kyle, Glenn, and Branton Whitecap. This is the Inside Splash, Chicago's premier aquarium podcast.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
It's a goofy little intro I threw together, just to make it a little more fun. So yeah, you are officially in the Inside Splash, Chicago's premier aquarium podcast. We are going to be spotlighting another awesome aquarist. Normally we spotlight local breeders, but today we're broadening our horizons a little bit here. Ed is an interesting guy that Branton had brought to my attention, and I definitely want to learn about this guy. So we're gonna get into it. Branton can probably do a little bit better of an intro for Ed, so I'm gonna let him take over.
Yeah, I met Ed in one of I was at work and I just happened to pop into one of Jeff Pelham's streams, and Ed was in there and talking. I believe it was a fish room tour, wasn't it?
It was my very first fish room tour.
Yeah, and he was going through all of his tanks, and I thought it was they all looked really nice. It was really good. And then you had talked about not being able to get some Waster tank to do okay for you, and I had mentioned that I've got mine growing in hard water, and if we could work out a trade, and you said yeah, and so now I've got some Goodeids, and I sent you some plants, and this just kind of blossomed from there.
They're doing great too. Thanks for sharing.
Are they? Awesome.
Yeah.
Branton's got some special plants over there too. I think me and him have like a special hold of hard water plants that people need to get a hold of for real.
Yeah, I call my water liquid limestone.
Yeah, dude. I feel you on that.
Some of my tanks, I went down to the river and I've got chunks of limestone in it. So I mean, Yeah. But yeah, our water here is hard. Like out of the tap, it's like 8.2, and then depending on what tank, sometimes it goes up slightly, sometimes it falls a little bit. But yeah, right. It's right around that 8.2 mark.
That's perfect for Goodeids.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, and that's why I started going into the live bears as well. I was messing with some other different species, and it's working out pretty well, like the CPDs and stuff. But live bears and hard water go hand in hand.
I'll have to share with you my secret on how I breed egg scatterers.
Ooh,
I'm a lazy aquarist. So when I tell you how I do it, you'll be like, no way. And it works all the time. Like, you know, and if they're ready to spawn, it'll work. So
All right.
Okay.
I had a friend, Regina Spotty, give me some tips.
Oh, for sure.
And then I kind of figured out something on my own. And I have 2 fish rooms. So on the other side is the nano fish room that's eventually going to be the all the grow outs for the baby gladiates, because I'm running out of room over here for grow outs. So
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm real into to nano tanks. That's like my niche, I guess.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, after all them years of keeping them big, nasty African cichlids, I mean, it just
dude, don't get me started. So
yeah.
I used to do monster fish, and not to beat down anyone who does them. After what I experienced years ago with monster fish, I just realized, in my opinion, there's just some fish that shouldn't be in tanks. But a few years ago, I had an opportunity to get some blue dolphin, Sagittara morai, and it's one of my favorite cichlids. And I have 6 or 8 of them in a 75-gallon, and they're going to have to be moved to a bigger tank soon. But they're really the only cichlids I have now. I have a couple pet cichlids, but the only ones I really breed right now. So,
Let me do some shout outs here. We got some people
Yeah.
showing up in the chat. We got Jeff Kane showed up earlier. He is gonna be replay crew. And man, it's 2 weekends in a row, Branton. 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Brutal. And we got Zen Ginger. What's up? We got Stephen P. Howdy. We got Susan Everett. What's up?
hey, Sue. That's my girl.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure. And we got Jorge up in the house here. What's up? It's a lovely Saturday. I am digging it. How's everybody feeling?
It was a beautiful day out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
wouldn't know.
sir.
I was inside all day.
Yeah.
I worked the fish room for a few hours this morning, went upstairs, watched some TV, came back down here, and that was my day.
Yeah, we just got back from they got a new park down the street. The girls went and played, and I went obviously with them and played for a little while. It's called Rising Tide Center, and it's pretty new. And they got like this obstacle course with all like the rope nets and the climbing walls and all that stuff. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got myself in trouble in places like that, man. I can't help but start climbing.
I trip over a crack in linoleum. It would be scary for me to do that.
Dude, I back in the day, like 2 years ago, I had gotten on like a real big fitness kick, and I had gotten like super in shape. I was able to run and all this stuff. So I was taking my daughter to this place called Urban Air, which is like one of those like Ninja Warrior courses, if you've ever heard of that place.
I have.
And I tried to do, I think it was a front flip, because there's no way in hell I would have tried to do a back flip. I don't have that skill. Tried to do a front flip on a trampoline and landed, and the trampoline rebounded as I landed. And I heard a pop in my knee, and ever since then it has not been the same. I can't do running like I used to. Like I like probably have to get it checked out. And I'm sitting kind of awkward, and I have my legs straightened out right now, because it was like after standing all day today.
How long ago did this happen?
It was right now it's about 2 years, about just over 2 years.
Yeah, maybe you should go get that seen.
Yeah, I think I need to get it checked out.
Well, I'm a shape too. It's called round.
Hey, yeah, everybody's got the shape, right? I'm going back towards round.
I own it. I'm 54 years old. I've earned it. So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Well,
pizza's too damn good. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So Ed, why don't you tell everybody how you got into this hobby? Like what was the gateway?
I'm good. I thought for a minute, my lights, sorry, don't mean to interrupt. lights on the other side just went out, and I'm like, oh crap! I hope my lights don't go here. I remember I turned them on manually. We're good. I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I remember watching TV. So I'm going to date myself here. I was watching Sesame Street, and on Sesame Street, they had some with an aquarium, and then shortly after it was Mr. Rogers. And I don't know if any of you saw Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He had the aquariums. So I told my mom I wanted an aquarium. We ended up getting our first 10-gallon, and with those fish, we did a bunch of little tetras and stuff. And then over the years, as a kid, I had anywhere from 3 to 4 aquariums and bred for a while. And then over the last 7 years, I went from just a few aquariums now up to over 100.
Okay.
So, and during the pandemic, I was watching YouTube one night and ran across a man many of you may have heard of, Greg Sage.
Oh yeah.
And I saw some videos on Goodyears, and I thought it was really cool. So I emailed him, and with it, like the very next day, he messaged me. And since then, we've gotten to be really good friends, and we share bloodlines and stuff. And probably right now, I think I have 23 or 24 different species of Goodyears, and the tanks go anywhere. They go from anywhere from 100 to 100 to 110, depending on what I'm doing in a week. So.
Cool.
That is wild, man. That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and my business partner do all the water changes by hand.
Nice.
So we do 20 to 30 aquariums a day.
Now, is there a reason for doing it by hand, or?
Well, the way the water is set up here and how we have to process our water. We have well water in our facility, and with that well water, the farm is the house is kind of close to a stream that's got a lot of high sulfur in it. So the well doesn't have sulfur in it, but has sulfur gas. So what we have to do, we paid a few $1,000s for a filtration system. And then after that, we still have to aerate our water in vats for 24 hours before we can put them in the tank. So if we would have been able to just go right in and put them right into the tanks without processing, I probably would have done that. But I kind of like doing the water changes by hand because I enjoy it. And just my opinion, with me being that hands-on, I know when something's going on. I know people that have quite a few aquariums, and they do automatic water changes. And to me, it's like, you may miss something. So like with what we do here with that by hand, it's easy for us to know if there's something going on in the tanks. So
okay.
And with those auto feed water change systems, like if something happens with your city water, I don't know.
and so the thing about it is, so Goodyears have to have a high quality water. So when I moved here 2.5 years ago, the first few months I was losing fish here and there, and they were bloating. And I was like, something's going on. So I started testing the water and all that. So by testing the water and figuring, it took me about a month or two. This is the best practice that works, so that they're getting good water. I lost a lot of fish in that first month or two before I figured out what all of this with the issue with the water. So that's another reason why I do it by hand. So.
Okay. Yeah, I like doing mine by hand too. Like you said, you kind of, so I have a bad habit. If I start a water change, I do all mine by hand. But mine are all over the house, so there's no way I could automate that. But if I walk away while I'm filling a tank or draining a tank, it's bad news. I got to stay there. Otherwise, I'm completely draining the tank or I'm overflowing it by however much. I've done that countless times. And so, yeah, I'll sit there, and while the whole process is, I'm looking at the tanks. Not that I don't.
Yeah,
anyways,
I got you.
But while I'm doing it, you just sit there, and it's nice being able to observe while you're doing that.
Yeah, all of my tanks are in my basement. I was given strict orders. You can have the basement. The upstairs there's no tanks. So
Stephen P asks, what was the cause of the bloating? I think is what he's asking.
the cost of
The cause of the bloating that you were having?
the bloating. So there's a couple of things that can cause bloat in Goodyears. In this situation, what was causing the bloating was the gas in the water. So you have to remember, as fish are breathing, they're breathing in oxygen and stuff into their gills, and it's going through their blood system. So with that sulfur gas not fully released in that water, they were ingesting that. But another thing that I found out too is, and I learned this early on, different Goodyears have different diets. So the crocodons are carnivore, Scyphia are herbivore. So if you're giving too much protein to Scyphia, it can cause bloat. Their digestive system is shorter, so it's basically just like, you know how like the Malawi cichlids, how they get bloat?
Kind of like the Mbuna.
Yeah, Scyphia are the same way. So, okay. But what had happened with I had females that were bloating. The males didn't seem to bloat, it was the females. And I'm not exaggerating. I had females that their stomachs bloated out to the size of a quarter. And when I figured all this out, now luckily I haven't had any issues. But that's one of the reasons I don't do automatic water changes. I physically can't here because of what we have to do to process the water. So when we put them in vats. They're 35 to 50 gallon vats. We have 3 of them. We fill them up and we highly aerate them for 24 hours to make sure that gas disperses out. And since we do that, it's a lot easier.
Nice.
Gotcha. So, no, Branton.
So,
yeah, you go.
Okay, so I guess what made you want to take it to this level? Like, so you started just keeping fish, but what really made you want to step up your game, I guess?
Insanity.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So what it is, I've had a couple pet businesses in the past. Years ago, I had my own pet store. For years, I bred parrots. And then what happened 6 years ago when I learned about Goodyears, it was the perfect mix for what I do, because I was intrigued by the fish, and I was intrigued that not too many people were working with them, and we needed to work with them to conserve the bloodline. So it was all of that. And after just getting a few species, I was hooked. And when I moved here, I had the space to go hog wild. So the first year, we built and did this, and it's just bloomed into all of this. And I live fairly secluded. I kind of keep to myself. So this place is like my world outside of the world, if that makes sense. And I get lost down here for hours. And for me, yes, it's a business. The business sustains itself. So, I'm not making money hand over fist, at least not right now, but it sustains itself where it pays for their food. It pays the electricity bill every month is $375, that alone. Then you factor in the food and stuff. And then I enjoy sharing the bloodlines. And I really feel it's important that people work with critically endangered fish. If you have a couple tanks, in my opinion, you should have 1 tank just for critically endangered fish, because a lot of these fish in the next few years are going to be completely gone in the wild. And I just think it's important that we preserve them for future generations, because I'm just a total Goodyear geek. So that's kind of where it came from.
Okay.
I've noticed, we were talking before, you talk a lot about, it seems like you're very food centric. Have you learned?
I'm actually a certified pet nutritionist. So I started out working with dog and cat pet food. And what people need to realize, pet nutrition goes across the board with the basic fundamentals. And when I bred parrots, I taught a lot about nutrition too. So it's very much the same. And so one of the things I do in my fish room, I have a lot of my own fish food made for me. Um, I have it done and cooked for me, and I make use my own ingredients and stuff. And what I have found, when you have control of what you're feeding, and you're doing whole ingredients, the fish do so much better. So people come to my house like, "Are you giving hormones?" No, I'm giving good food. So a lot of this just goes across the board with any type of pet food. A lot of commercial blends have a lot of fillers that are not digestible, and they're not giving them the nutrients they need. So I focus on giving them what they need. When you're giving quality nutrition to a pet, they're going to thrive. And in the situation with fish, when you're giving them quality nutrition and good water, they're going to breed for you if you want them to breed. Diet is one of the most important parts of breeding fish. So.
I'm trying to hide my tetracolored tropical granules.
I see nothing. I see nothing. I'll have to send you a bag of my omnivore flake that I created.
You know what?
Is that the flake that you hooked me up with, Ed? So,
yeah, I did.
When me and Kyle went to the Milwaukee Aquarium Society swap, I actually filled up a bag and gave some to Kyle. So
cool. Give it a try. So that food. So here's what you'll notice with it. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't talk about this. I'm not trying to plug a product.
No, you're good.
No, that is actually specifically, if there's anything you are selling, anything you want to highlight for what you're doing, that is like what this is purpose built for.
Well,
I normally deal with people that are local because it's and then I have like something that's like kind of built up for that. But like for you, dude, you're good, man. We're not judging. Yeah, no worries.
I appreciate that. I just feel a little weird about doing that. People.
No, go ahead.
So the food I created is, now the interesting thing is I only have it made a couple times a year, but when I get it, I get about 50 to 100 pounds at a time. So the food is the only filler that is in it is pea paste that binds the flake. And Brant, you may have noticed the flake is a little thicker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The reason it's thicker, when you're feeding flake, the vitamins that are fortified in a flake dissipate out within 30 seconds. So if that fish is not eating it right away, that vitamin's just going right into the water.
Mm-hmm.
A thicker flake lasts longer. Okay. So that flake has a spirulina, which is a natural color enhancer. There is quality fish protein in there that's fish farmed and raised. All of the ingredients come from the United States and are sourced in the United States and made in the United States. There are a bunch of vegetables. So Branton, when you open the bag, remember when I told you it smells like vegetables?
Yes.
And there's squash, zucchini, all kinds of stuff for it. And my fish go nuts over it. And what I have noticed, because it's a whole food and there's very little filler, for the most part, it's fully digestible. So they're not pooping like crazy. So.
Yeah, it definitely it has a way cleaner smell than
Yeah, I like
it. Yeah. My girlfriend will appreciate that because she can smell my fish food the second I crack the top of it. Like, I swear, like, she'll be halfway across the room. She's like, "Oh, you're feeding the fish." And I'm like, "Dude, come on. You can smell that really. Get out of here."
So I have a freeze-dried Daphnia she would hate because the minute you open the bag, it wafts. But it's sun-dried Daphnia. And, I mean, it's not offensive, but if someone doesn't like the smell of fish food, yeah, she'd go nuts with that. If you ever feel the need to torture her a little bit, let me know. I'll send you some.
All right, for sure.
I was gonna say that the girls love when I cook up some rapashi. That usually fills up the house pretty good.
Rapashi is killer. The first time don't get me wrong, it's great for conditioning fish.
Yeah.
But the first time I cooked that, I was like, whoa. Like, thank God no one's coming to the house for a day or so.
Uh-huh.
I had Rapashi gecko food and it wasn't bad, but I think that's a different type of Rapashi.
I don't
Right?
They
think
use a
so.
lot of different stuff.
It smelled fruity. I remember.
I think they just changed the picture on it. It's all I mean, the
Is
ingredients
it
might be a little
brown?
different.
Because I
It's
remember it
like
being brown. It was like a powder, and I like had to mix up a little bit of water.
yeah,
It was a long
and
time
it
ago, though, man.
is basically like making Jello. You'd have to heat up the water,
Yeah.
and then you dissolve the powder in there, and then
Yeah.
it hardens up.
Well, you're looking at a man that can't make Jello, so you can
Yeah.
imagine what my passion. Swear to God, I
Yeah.
cannot make Jello.
Yeah,
Cannot
I do
make Jell-O.
mine all nice and neat. You know, I got the cool little flower trays, or whatever time of the year it is, I'll make them. Little Christmas trees and stuff. So I'm festive when it comes to my rapashi.
Do you have the skulls for Halloween coming up here?
Yep, I got the skulls.
Sweet, sweet.
So yeah.
But
After
we had a
that,
question
I'm
I
concerned.
pulled up here. And I want to make sure we get this guy because I don't want to leave him hanging. But he says, "What's the best way to get into critically endangered fish?" Because we kind of left that subject, and I didn't want to leave him out in the
Yeah,
cold.
sure. So there are a couple organizations that you can become affiliated with. I used to be a chair for the CARES program, and some people may have heard of that. That is a program that was started about 20-some years ago by Claudia Dickinson, and she's just an amazing person. And in that program, Dr. John Lyons and Dr. Paul Loisel contribute and donate their time. And what they do, they confirm bloodlines of fish and all that, and people share their fish. But probably one of the best for if you want to get into critically endangered live is the American Live Bearer Association. One prime example for me, I've been a member of the American Live Bearers Association for 3 years, and ever since I first started with Goodyear 6 years ago, there was a particular location of Audex I was looking for, and I could not find it. The people from ALA helped me find it, and I'm now breeding them. So it's a really good way to network. It's just my personal opinion with critically endangered fish. If you want to work with quality endangered live fish, get them from a reliable source. And for me, I don't like to preach, but for me, a lot of the critically endangered live bearers come with location information and all that. It's imperative that you keep that. So if you're just getting a fish that doesn't have the locations and stuff like that, that's basically an aquarium strain. It's an unconfirmed fish, and honestly, it actually is detrimental to working with critically endangered fish. So working with organizations that specialize in that is a really good outlet. The CARES program, which you can find right online, cares.org, gives you a list of all the critically endangered fish, not just live bears, but cichlids. There's a critically endangered fish for everyone. There's cichlids, there's loaches, there's tetras, all of that, and they're all listed there. Goodyears are just kind of my kick. And like I said, it's important to keep them. But like I said, find a reliable source. I see a lot of Dowadroy and Lion's Eye and Eiseneye, which are all grouped together in called a red-tailed Goodyear, with no location data. And what's interesting about that, if you don't have the location data with them, they look like the exact same fish. They were split up into 3 species in 2016. So if
Based on location?
Yeah, so if you're not keeping that location data, you can hybridize them. And as a matter of fact, so I was, up until recently, I was the chair for registering fish with the clubs. In the last year, there have been numerous hybridizations that people tried to register that they thought were pure blood. So I always tell people, and it's like, I don't tell people how to run their fish rooms or what to do with their fish. But understand, when you're working with critically endangered fish, like when you get a critically endangered fish from me, I still have a few that I have to get confirmed in, but they came from reliable sources, but I just have to register them with CARES. But when you get fish from me, if they're a critically endangered fish, not only do you get the location data, you get all the registration information and all that. It's almost like a pedigree pet. And that tracks the bloodline and all of that, and it just ensures that you're getting a quality fish that's purebred.
So that is, I am really, really grateful that you brought that up. Oh, we lost Ed. Ed, you there? Oh, for sure.
There he is.
I am really grateful.
Sorry,
that
I
you
lost you, buddy. I had someone try to call me.
oh, no worries. No
That
worries.
reminds me, I better do that for mine too.
The do not disturb.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm really grateful you brought that up about the location because, oh, for sure. Oh, see. Well, we had some more people pop in. I'm gonna shout some people out. So, Richard Terrell, how you doing? We got your. We're starting to answer your question there. I got Kicks 2.0. We got MC Aquatics. What's up? What's up? We got the Aquascapes. Susan Everett. Okay. All right. I think that's all the intros. Oh, you can't hear me? I gotcha.
What's up?
He said he can't hear us. I think he's got to leave and then he'll come back in. That's easy enough. But no, what he was saying though about the collection points is I just got these two live versions. And they both came with collection points, and to me, I'm like, well, they're tank bred because they were turned in for BAP points, like breeder award points. So like for me, I was like, what is the point of the collection point? And he just answered my question, but I wouldn't have even thought to ask that, and he's knowledgeable on that. So that to me it's interesting. It's all right. So now I have got two types of fish here that like one's from Rio Koi, Mexico. Those are the Xiphosphoros pygmaeus, and then I got the Rio I can't pronounce it. Tacan. Back.
Sorry, guys. Of course, someone calls me on my phone and boots me off with you guys. So I'm sorry.
No worries.
Hey,
No
that's all
worries.
right.
I'm like, it happens every time. I'm like, I told everyone, I'm like, no one call me. Give me 2 hours. And no, it still happens. So I'm sorry, Kyle, you were saying
I'm going to call you right now, Ed.
Yeah, so all I was saying was I just got the two live birds that we were talking a little bit about. I have Xiphosphoros pygmaeus, and then I got the Zoogenicus tequila, right? Which I might have brutalized the name there. I try to do the scientific names. Like I'm really trying to bring that from the get-go. Like I just learned the scientific name and I try to throw out the other one. But yeah, I'm still getting there. So I got both of those, and they came with collection points. And I didn't understand, like, because they were turned in for breeder award points at my club. And so I'm like, well, they're tank bred. You know, what's the point of the collection point? In my head, you know, I just didn't know. And so you bringing that up, I'm like, all right, well, now I understand the like what that means, really.
So
you know what I mean?
I'll give you a better example of why it's important. Over the last few years, there were 2 species of fish that were extinct in the wild: Zoogenicus tequila and Scyphia francese. They were reintroduced back into the wild, and now they're thriving again. So if you have so I have a species of fish here. It's the same species, but 2 different collection points, and it's called Scyphia.
What was that?
That was really cool. Can I do that?
I don't know.
I don't know how you did that, man.
I do not know what just happened there.
Party.
It's a party.
So, Scyphia, I have a bloodline of Scyphia multipunctata, and they come from 2 different collection points. And when you look at the fish, they look, what is going on? This is getting really weird. Okay, I'm just gonna have a party while I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I know. Someone left me a voicemail, but why am I getting balloons? Because that's never happened before. So there's 2 collection points for the fish. They look a little different. So the one line, Scyphia multipunctata lagacama saquaro, their environment has been extirpated. It no longer exists. It happened through farming. So sugarcane farming and all that, they came in and literally filled up the whole area. Mexico right now has been in an 18-month drought. So the water issue is, plus they high farming. There's a lot of pollution. That area has been destroyed. Let's say in a few years they would want to rebuild that area and reintroduce those fish. You would want to reintroduce the fish. They'd have a better chance of reintroduction that have come from that area. So it's a point of conservation. So not only does it help keep the bloodlines true, it helps with conservation. So right now, if anyone's interested in learning about reintroduction, I highly recommend looking into Scyphia francese and Zoogeneticus tequila. It's really interesting how they're bouncing back. And the people in Mexico are learning more about conservation and how important it is to protect their environment. And they're literally getting school kids working with this and villagers are getting, taking responsibility for conservation. It's a really cool thing to look and see how they're redeveloping the areas. And so that's why it's important to keep those collection points. Zoogeneticus tequila comes from Rio Tuxtlan. So that's the only area it's known for, but I still like to keep that collection data. It's important. So I tell people those words aren't on there to look pretty. There's when you're working with critically endangered fish, there's a reason why you keep that information.
Say it one more time. What is it?
Hold on.
Rio...
Kyle, you say it first.
Rio...
Okay, I'll break it down. Rio. Land. Rio Tuxtlan.
Rio Tuxtlan.
Now you're an expert.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know how.
Here's what it is. When you start learning how to speak the Latin names and stuff, it gets really easy. It gets to a point where you can really sound it out. I've got a couple here that their names are about this long. Those are the ones that are a little challenging, but it like I said, I tell people, like, I don't harp on people with that, but it's important to keep that information. It really is. So.
Well, yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because now I learned something, and I would have never mixed them with anything. I mean, they would have stayed by themselves for forever. Yeah. But either way, it's good to know. You know what I mean?
So I have a breeding program I do. I'm working with crocodons, and one of the things I have found, crocodons are becoming really hard to find.
What's a crocodon?
I've had my business going for a few years, and what I found, I had people that were calling and emailing me all the time wanting crocodons. And crocodons, when they have babies, they sometimes only have up to 10 babies at a time, and they only drop fry maybe once or twice a year. I luck out and sometimes get 3 times a year. So I started doing a bigger breeding program with them. But it was brought to my attention about a year ago that there was someone hybridizing crocodons. And I'm like, that's just wrong.
What is the crocodon?
Crocodons are a type of goodid.
Okay, for sure.
There's 9 different water holes of them, and they're depleting like crazy. So the thing to remember is when you're working with critically endangered fish, it's not like working with a regular aquarium fish. There's responsibility in working with these fish. So when I hear when someone hybridizes or they're not keeping a confirmed fish, they're basically putting nails in the coffin to these fish. So it's kind of hard not to take that personally with what a lot of us do to work to keep the bloodlines going. So, but yeah. The crocodons, I work with 2 different species and 3 total locations. So,
all right. So to bring up the last comment before that was up there for a while, I forget who had said it, but they said they were feeding their goodyids live food. Yeah, M&C says they're feeding their goodyids live food 90% of the time, or pellets. What are your thoughts on that? And I guess it would depend on what type of goodie, huh?
So don't get me wrong, like the Skiffia or herbivore. So if you have any Skiffia, you can still give protein. You just don't want to do a ton of protein. So you would want to do basically plant-based. So my Skiffias behind me right here, they get a small squirt of baby brine every day. They also, I just don't give bloodworms to them or anything like that. And then I give them a lot of plant-based. But if you have Amica splendens, any of the Cracodons, Zogoneticus tequila, any of them that are not Skiffia, you can give them a little bit more protein. And I'm the typical person. Live food is the best. If you can do all live food, that's the best.
What about my trout goodies? Because they be tearing up the brine shrimp.
So here's the deal: trout goodies are omnivores, so you can give them a little bit of everything. Just remember that flake I gave that has spirulina. Spirulina is a natural color enhancer. So if you're not giving a lot of plant-based protein, what you'll see is your fish will start dulling down. So,
okay.
But yeah. Oh, and by the way, a lot of people have the perception that the trout goodie is a critically endangered fish. It isn't.
Yep.
It's one of the few that isn't. So there's 40 species of goodeids, and they're one of the few that isn't.
No, they are considered threatened though, aren't they?
No.
No. Okay.
Not the trout. Not the trout. They're not. They're listed. They're not even listed on CARES. So they're still there's still a decent population of them in their areas. They're not critically. They're one of the few that aren't. But
that's crazy because if you would have asked me about that, I would have sworn I had heard that they were. I don't know where I heard that.
A couple of years ago, I believe, and then they came off.
No, so the Iliodon furcidens is not listed in CARES.
Huh.
So they're not considered a critically endangered.
Huh.
Yeah. But they're one of the few. So there's 40-some species. One is completely extinct. It is absolutely gone. We can no longer have it. It's no longer in the wild, and it no longer exists in the aquarium hobby. Zogoneticus tequila and francese were extinct in the wild, brought back by aquarists and put back into the wild. Some of the others are critically endangered. Amica splendens, from what I'm being told, will probably, and that's the butterfly goodid, will be extinct in the wild by next year possibly.
Okay. Wow.
And that was the very first fish I started with. So.
Sorry, my daughter came in looking for a flashlight.
It's all good. I just got balloons coming up around my screen like an house.
Yeah, you actually got the like bubble to pop up too. I don't know if you saw that earlier.
It was from this.
I don't know how come you get to do it. It's my channel. I don't even get to do it.
It must be a setting. But no, just
all I know. So my friend Ashley Greger. So Ashley, if you watch this was all about you calling me, and this crazy stuff comes up.
But no, just to throw it out there, if anybody in chat does have a question, go ahead and throw it up. Like Zen just threw up a question if we want to answer that one.
Well, all right. So I got this one pulled up here too. How often do goodeids drop fry, and how many? This is by Susan Everett.
That's a good question, because I have to give a little bit of a story first. Well, I'll answer the question first. Goodeids on average. Most goodeids can drop up to 10 fry. Some goodeids only drop 2. And they can drop, if you're lucky, you can get fry twice a season. So a lot of people, when they're messaging me, why don't you have them available? They're alive there, and people think, oh, they're like a guppy. No offense to people that breed guppies. Guppies can have 30, 40. Goodeids can't do that. But I'm pretty fortunate. I have one pair of fish here that every time she drops, she gives me like 25 to 30 babies. But as a general rule, they don't drop a lot. So, and the reason I said that's a good question is a YouTuber who I'm not bashing, so I'm not even going to mention their name, did a big video about the trout goodie last year. And if I had to give an honest critique, they didn't mention that these fish don't breed that often, and then they don't drop a lot of fry. I got bombarded with calls and emails for trout Goodyead. Well, why don't you have any available? And I think a lot of people don't understand. Goodyeads don't produce like other live bears, like guppies, platies, swords. So that's one thing to remember when you're working with Goodyeads, is that they're not, to build numbers, it takes time. But another thing to remember with Goodyeads are a cold water fish. So you don't want to keep them above 74 degrees. There's only 2 species that go a little bit above, but keeping them in a cooler water, they do a lot better. But they only drop a few fry at a time. Now, what's interesting, those fry, when they drop them, are pretty big. So, Branton, when you get your first trout fry, wait till you see how big they are.
Yeah, I can't wait.
They're
No,
about.
I've already got them. How do they I guess what's the breeding ritual? Do they dance in front of each other? Because I've got some that are like, they're kind of starting to shimmy, kind of like a guppy does with the female. He kind of shimmy in and.
So there's a couple. First, I'll tell you how to sex a Goodyead. So you know how a guppy has a gonopodium, that cone fin by the anal fin. They have the gonopodium. So a Goodyead, they have an andropodium. So what it looks like, and I'll do it like this. See how my hand is in the thumb?
Hold on 1 second. Let me pull you up here.
What's that?
I'm gonna put you on the big screen so everyone can see this good.
Okay.
This is that.
So
Yeah.
see how my hand is like this? It almost looks like, let me get that. It looks like a mitt. So you've got this and the tip. A male Goodyead will have this by its anal fin. This is called the andropodium. There's literally this tip. When they go to spawn with a female, they will curl this, and that tip will insert. And they'll fertilize the female that way. Now, here's the thing, too. You know how some live bearers can store sperm and the female can impregnate herself without a male? Goodyeads have to insert every time. So they'll insert that into the female. When they're courting female, your males will spar, and you'll see them flare and spar. When the females are ready to breed, they'll tip. I'm trying to see where I can get. They'll tip down like this, nose down, and they'll shimmy. And they'll shimmy.
Okay. So the females do the shimmy.
The females will do the shimmy. The males will radiate. So their fins, their dorsals will radiate, and their anal fins will radiate. A female will do the shimmy.
Okay.
So if you have them shimmying right now, those are more likely females. So the best way to tell male from female is, like I said, the male will have that andropodium. That's the surefire way to tell. That's with all Goodyeads.
All right.
We might have touched on this already, but my brain might have skipped over. Susan's had a comment, but it kind of sounds like a question. I know some live bears have a long gestation. So longer, or is it still all about the same?
Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Thanks for reminding me. That's another thing too. Goodyeads have a longer gestation period. So Goodyeads generally can go about 60 days. That's a 60-day gestation period.
Oh, wow.
And some species can go as high as up to 90 days.
Okay. And that must contribute too with the size that they come out.
Yeah. For anyone who likes working with live bearers, I tell them you got to at least try at least one species of Goodyead. Because what I like about Goodyeads, my favorites are the Cracodons. The Cracodons have the behavior characteristics of a dwarf South American cichlid, and it's really cool. But when you're breeding them and you get your first drops of fry and you see how big the fry are, it's just really cool. It's really cool. The fry of Goodyeads can take baby brine shrimp day one. So. And what's cool, if you want to discuss breeding, so Goodyeads, the babies have an umbilical cord called a trapezia that they link into the female, and they actually get their nutrients from the mother while they're gestating. When they're dropped into the tank, for the first few hours, you'll think they're dead. They'll lay on the bottom, and they'll have that little trapezius that looks like a little white string coming from their abdomen. Within a few hours, they'll come up and they'll start swimming, and they drop that trapezia within the first day. So anyone who starts breeding goodeids, if you see babies laying on the bottom, they've just been born. Within a few hours, they'll come to the top. So
Okay.
I wanted to mention that because someone will say, "Oh, they're all dead." I've had babies lay on the bottom for a full day before they got up and swam.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really cool. Some of my species I colony breed, but the more rare, like my crocodons, when the female's ready to drop, I put her in a 10-gallon with a bunch of guppy grass, let her drop there. I'll take her out, and then I raise the babies from there.
Okay.
They're really cool. Once you start figuring out how, I'm telling you, I tell a lot of people, once you start breeding them, you get hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could feel that, man. I could feel that. So do you I feel like this is almost like a dark zone for live bear breeders and stuff, but do you do any half beak breeding?
I do.
You do, really? Hello? Oh, did he freeze?
I don't know.
I think he did. Damn. See, I told you it's a dark zone.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to talk about half beaks.
It's part of the suspense. Oh, there we go.
I was like, what happened there for a minute? Hold on.
Yeah, it's because I brought up the forbidden word in live bear breeding. It's half beaks.
I think I'm figuring it out. Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yep, we can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you, buddy Jeff. You're helping me on this when you taught me how to do this. I'm going to take you over. So check this
Ooh.
out. Have you guys
Going
ever
on
heard
an
of
adventure.
Have you guys ever heard of Bologna socks?
Hold on, let me pull you up solo here.
Let me find one.
Oh, let me pull this question down too. There we go.
Come on, guys. There we go. Have you guys ever
Ooh.
socks? They are a live bearing fish. This is a baby. This baby's only a month old and he's already an inch long. There's
Okay.
there's 25 of them in there. The mom is pushing 6 inches now.
What?
Wow.
Now, here's the interesting story about there's one. Here's the interesting story about these Bologna socks. I purchased a pair in April.
Okay.
Well, when it came, there was a female. That's it. So I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey, there's a mistake. I was supposed to have a pair. He goes, oh, only supposed to be a single. I'm like, well, I wanted to breed them, so I can't breed them without a male. A month and a half ago, she dropped these. She fertilized herself. She held
Oh,
sperm.
wow.
Yeah, and there's 25 babies. And the interesting thing about them is people are like, oh, you're going to have to feed them live food all the time. It's going to break you up. These babies will literally take anything I feed them. I give them a little bit of flake, but not much. But I do a lot of freeze dried with them and frozen. They eat anything I put in the tank.
Very
Yeah, dude,
cool.
my wrestling half beak that I have, he'll eat anything. Yeah.
While I got this on, I'll just show you. So this is a crocodon. This is the crocodon El Tabasso. They're called the Black Prince.
Yeah, I like the black. That's cool.
Hold on. That is Lush and Salty was looking for that, I think. Oh wait, or no, he was looking for the black chin, and then Skull had mentioned something about the Black Prince or whatever. Yeah, never mind. I think I'm getting them mixed up.
So
But
the black chin is a Poecilia, so they're not a goodhead.
Yeah. I was getting it mixed up in my head because we were having a conversation about this on my last live. But
I want to show you. Of course, they're all freaked out because I shut down the air pump for a little while so I could hear you guys. So they're all
thank you
freaked.
for that.
So I wanted to show you that Los Pinos. Oh, a lot of the Audax are out. So, well, anyway. But anyway, yeah. So I have those. I was breeding half beaks, but what was happening was I had babies, but the babies were dying within a month.
Yeah,
So I
that's
gave up on them.
yeah, that's what I've heard is that the babies people don't get like there's a lot of stillborn with half-beak breeding and stuff. That's just what I've heard. I haven't done a whole lot of research into it. I don't even have a pair yet. Was at the swap, and one of my friends had one wrestling half-beak, and he gave it to me for like $3, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna take it. And I mean, it's a little mini gar. Like, I mean, it's just a beautiful fish. Like, I love watching it. Like,
well, the thing with half-beaks, they're prone to nutrient and vitamin deficiencies. So if they're not getting quality food, what happens then? When they do have babies, the babies are either stillborn, disfigured, or they just don't survive. So what you want to do with them is give them a really nutrient-dense food. Live food is best, and then go frozen. I tell people when it comes to flake food is a processed food. What do doctors tell us about processed food? So now, I created a flake food. I use the flake, but I focus more on my freeze-dried whole foods and my live foods, and then I supplement with the flake just to get the plant-based in with myself.
what do you think about tubifex worms? Like the freeze-dried tubifex?
Some fish, yes. Some fish, no. I definitely wouldn't give it to Scyphia because the Scyphia with the bloat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like, I don't feed much tubifex. I do so much with bloodworm that's kind of my niche with that. So.
Before we get too,
I wanted to show you the female Bolana socks, but I don't know if she's gonna show. Let's see.
okay. Before we get too far away, Zen was asking with the trout goodeids, the females, when they're dancing, do they almost bend in half back and forth when they're dancing? Is that a normal?
They'll do that too. Yep.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah, I was way up in chat. There was like a bunch of chat that I hadn't seen. Whoops. Sorry.
I don't think you guys are going to see her. Her tank's dark right now. You can see her. I'm sorry.
No worries.
She's really cool. So.
Man, your fish room is gorgeous, man.
So now while we're on the topic of breeding, Ed, now I was on your website and kind of looking at some of, I think you have a category you can look at all your certificates for like your breeding awards.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to expand on that a little bit and all your awards and your achievements, I'm sure I'd love to hear about it.
You have a website?
I do have a website. It's www.edsaquaticexotics.com.
Yeah, if one of our mods wants to post it, I don't know, Kyle, if you want to make Zen a mod, she's usually like Miss Quick Fingers when it comes to stuff like that.
I don't want to force that on her, but if she wants to be a mod, Zen, do you want to be a mod? But I can look it up.
I'll force it on her. Just do it.
You said Ed's Aquatics Exotics?
edsaquaticexotics.com. And
all right, sorry, you keep going. I just want to get it posted in the chat.
But
Zen don't mind.
If you're one of those people like me that doesn't have a life and you want to see what's going on Facebook every day, I post probably daily on my Facebook page, which is also Ed's Aquatic Exotics. So I have to tonight post my availability of fish. So I'm going to be shipping fish up until probably the second week of November, depending on weather. I stop during the holidays, and then I don't start shipping again until mid-March. So these will be the last shipments I do for the season. And I'm going to be posting those on my website probably in the next day. And then I also post on Aquabid, and I also have a store on Get Hills. So, and if anyone wants to reach me, you can email me through any of those. I'm the type of person, I like to share information. So if you call me, and I think Branton can tell you that, I'll help you with them. I don't just say, okay, I want your money, here's the fish. I help to get you set up with them and make sure that you're successful with them.
Hey, thank you. We got your thank you to the mods there, Steven and Zen. It was a race to get it posted, and they both got it posted up. So I appreciate that a lot, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
So yeah, Ed, if you want to get into some of your, your awards,
Yeah, talk
and
about
stuff
your
like that,
awards.
That'd be great.
Okay, so I'm a member of the Greater Pittsburgh Aquarium Society, and we have a Breeders' Award program. And I've been a member of the club for a while, and a couple of my friends said, you need to get involved with the Breeders' Award program. So I started about 2 years ago, and at last, I think I'm up to about 70 species I've bred or spawned since then.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I kind of do that. So like I said, I focus on Laguniids and critically endangered livebearers. But then I also, like for the PhD program, I'll work with tetras and things like that. And it was really funny because about a year and a half ago, I spawned my first was egg scatter, which was celestial pearl danios.
Hey, mine too.
I totally geeked out on it. It was funny.
Right?
But yeah, I've been doing that for a few years. But now, what I'm doing with my business this year, I want to be able to focus more next year on fulfilling orders for people. So I built more room for my crocodons and stuff. So I've cut down on what I'm producing for BAP. But
Okay.
yeah, so we'll do this. Sorry if I'm making anyone dizzy.
Oh, you're good.
Hey, Jenna, we have a new name in the house here. I don't know if I've seen them anywhere before, actually. All Things Nature in Hawaii with Steve.
I've seen them around.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, welcome to the community. Steve,
Yeah.
We have an amazing community here. If you are into aquariums and you're interested in what we're talking about here, there is a bunch of people here. Everybody in blue in this chat here has their own channel. They're very knowledgeable in fish, plants, everything to do with aquariums. Welcome. Welcome.
So I'm gonna ask you guys a real quick question so I don't mess up. Do I hit X to get back so I can see you guys? I think I do. I'm gonna try. I'm a newbie to all this.
If we lose you, we can get you back on. It's easy. No worries.
If it works, you got to give us the peace sign and send the balloons again.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, come on, really? I'm like, that was embarrassing.
I can't believe I want to do it.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's just it. I don't know how it happened. I get it. All right, I'm just gonna sit here and look at myself, but I can hear you guys.
Let's try an experiment though. Give us the fingers, Ed. Just do this real quick and let's see if we can repeat it.
I'm going.
Oh
no! Oh no!
Oh, killed it.
Good.
All I'm seeing is myself when I went to the other. Hold on.
There we go.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what did that. It was like woohoo.
So what happened is one of my friends called me and a voicemail, but I don't know why that would do that because I didn't touch anything.
Everybody's saying it's an Apple thing, so I don't know.
I have Apple.
But try doing the fingers again.
Oh, that makes sense because I am streaming from my laptop, not my phone, and I've streamed on StreamYard using my phone, and I've had that happen.
Well, I'm streaming on my iPhone, and it ain't doing nothing. And you're getting the thumbs up thing too. So whenever you do this, Ed, you get like a thumbs up button too.
I guess I'm special. You're just not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just.
That's all right.
Yeah. So you were talking about breeder award programs, with your club locally.
So yeah, I showed you. I have a couple plaques, things like that. But what's cool about the Breeders' Award program, you get a little credit for what you do with it, and then you're also sharing your bloodlines of fish. And I'm pretty fortunate with my club. We have some really big name breeders that come to our club, so I get access to some really cool stuff.
Very nice.
And that's actually a good point for that guy that was asking about where to get a hold of like rare species of fish earlier. I believe that was Richard that was asking about that. I mean, finding your local club is the best way to do
Yeah.
that, I think.
Yeah,
Like if you have one, like
yeah. But another thing too, like if you don't have a local club, the ALA, the American Live Bears Association, also has a Breeders Award program, and you can get involved in that too. Some of the bigger clubs have that also.
So that's like that's a nationwide program, right? So then
Yeah.
like how would Breeder Award points work for that? Do you mail them in, like ship them in and stuff?
No, so if any of the people in the ALA are here, feel free to correct me if I just started with them. So if there's any members of the ALA, please feel free to chime in.
Well, we're going to hold you to this information 100%. So.
Okay. Well, I want balloons.
All right.
So what you would do, you spawn the fish, raise the young to they're about 8 weeks old, and then you put in an application, email it. I extend videos and pictures and things like that, and then you can offer them in their newsletter, in their source, and then you have to. You can either write an article or you do a report on them. But what's nice about it's a cool way of sharing information, especially for someone's like, wow, I want to breed or I want to spawn that fish. How can I do it? And it's a really good way of sharing resources and all that. But like I said, getting involved with big organizations and even your local clubs is a really good way to find fish, because it's funny. I have people, oh, I have an aquarium at home. Can I come see your fish? And I'm like, sure, but I don't have the kind of fish you see in a pet store. And that, that's like, for me, no disrespect to pet stores. I had a pet store for years. When I go into a pet store and see fish, I can appreciate them, but they really don't do anything for me. I like something that you don't see every day. So getting in with these organizations helps that. And with the Breeders Awards program, it's really cool. So like with our Breeders Awards program with Pittsburgh, it really is a friendly competition. And at the end of the year, people get trophies or plaques for most spawn. There's targets. So like there's certain fish that are designated more difficult to breed. If you breed them, you get 40 points. I've done a few of those. It's just a lot. It's a really good way of helping the hobby, helping people learn to breed more fish, and offering them into the hobby. And we have a blast with it. We just had a meeting last night, and we had a lot of submissions for our Breeders Award program. And if you have the opportunity to get involved in a club's Breeders Award program, I recommend it. I have a lot of fun with it. So.
Now speaking of Pittsburgh, I know the.
Did you say Pittsburgh? Wait a minute. Did you say Pittsburgh?
No, it just sometimes my mouth doesn't work. But yeah, Pittsburgh.
Wait. I gotta correct you. I don't live in Pittsburgh anymore. I used to. Now I live about 35 miles south. So for anyone that's in the area where I live, you're gonna love it. We call it Fayette-Nom. It's actually called Fayette County, but we call it Fayette-Nom. Don't ask me to go into the reasons why. So Pittsburgh, that's a new one.
Well, no, and actually what I meant to say was Pennsylvania, but no, there's the Keystone Clash going on, next weekend?
It's next weekend. It is next weekend, yeah.
Are you going?
I'm debating.
I was going to say, there's a lot of people in this chat that will either be going or I know Jenna and Steven that are in
literally
the chat.
helping running that show.
Yeah, they're helping run it, and will in fact have a booth there. So yeah, if you were debating on whether or not to go, maybe you should. I mean, you can meet a lot of good people there.
Yeah, I wanted to go last year, but I had started a new job and it just wasn't a year for me to do it. But it's about 3.5 hours away from me. That's not.
Yeah, it's 12 for me, or I'd be there. So I'm gonna ship some plants there, to help out the Fish Fam booth. But yeah, 12 hours for me is just too. That's a trip.
Yeah, it's in the makings that possibly the ALA convention next year is going to be in Texas. I'd love to go, but I don't see me driving. I don't fly. God didn't give me wings. I don't fly. And so I drive everywhere. So I don't see me driving to Texas.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the Keys. I've met quite a few people that run the Keystone Clash, and they're really nice people. And it's funny, you talk to a lot of people online, but if you walk past them on the street, you wouldn't know who they are. And I just think it would be an opportunity for me to meet some of the people I chat with. I may go. A lot of it is the thing about it is for me, I'm a control freak, so I can't leave my fish room for a few days. So if I go, it's just going to be I'll leave Saturday morning, come back Saturday night. So you figure that's 6 hours drive, just
Mm-hmm.
getting there and back. So, but I have been considering it. I really don't do a lot of swaps, and I haven't gone to a lot of the conventions, but I'm trying to change that a little bit. So I'm pretty much I'll go to the local clubs and do that. And I work a full-time job too, so between
Yep.
that, running a fish room, and I don't have that much time to just relax.
There's one other guy here that has like 100-something tanks, and that's I think that's Henry. And when he told me he had a full-time job, I was like, "How do you do that?" Like, I have 23 tanks, and some days I wake up and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing with myself. Like, what?
I work in healthcare administration.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I run this. So, but like I said, I have a business partner that helps, and without him helping, there's no way I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So just to feed the fish, one feeding takes an hour and a half.
That's
We
the whole
we
the
feed
whole
the adults.
shebang.
We feed the adults twice a day, and then
God,
the
dude.
babies are fed 3 to 4 times a day. So just in feeding alone. So I mean, honestly, to run this fish room the way it runs, you need someone that has a full time job that has a
Yeah.
full time job. And I'm pretty fortunate that I have a business partner that can do that. So
Now, is your business partner, did he come in very knowledgeable and know everything, or have you kind of mentored him into
he
what?
had aquariums. He came over, saw what I was doing, and he totally geeked out about it. And
Yeah.
he was a fast learner, and
Okay.
he's one of these people like it's really cool because as business partners we work well together. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm into the husbandry and all of that. And when I say this isn't bashing him. He is really good at the maintenance. I can do maintenance, but he is so much better at it than me. So like we're scraping the glass and stuff. Like he scraped the glass here today before he left that up so I could have this stream tonight. My friends that have worked with me in stores can tell. Like I'll scrape and think I got it, walk back and like, wow, I totally missed that. So when you have a
Me
good,
too.
when you like, I'm like, did I not? How did I not see that?
Dude,
And
I know.
I'm like, but like it's really good to have a business partner that excels at things you don't, and I think it's a pretty good mix of what we're doing here. And then he comes and helps ship on the days that I work because I work Monday through Friday, so he'll come in and we ship on Mondays and Tuesdays. So he's a great help that way.
Okay. So do you have any new current projects that you're starting, or anything that you wanna, anything in the pipe works?
So I really wish I could show you some more of the Crocodons, but they're totally freaked out from the air being off. You saw the Black Prince. So one of the projects I'm working on right now is building my Crocodons. So I right now have 4 breeding colonies of the Black Prince, 4 breeding colonies of Lateralis, which is called the Rainbow Goodyead, and I have 2 colonies of the Audax Lost. And I'm building those numbers because the goal is next year I want to be able to fill orders as they come in, and just grow the numbers. And then in the next month or two, I plan on starting to just as a pet project for BAP, starting to breed Hillstream loaches.
Okay.
So
All right, so Richard's got something in the chat here. He says to ask Ed what ABASS is.
What is it? I didn't hear that. What was that?
ABAS? ABAS?
ABASS.
Hold on, can you see chat? Ed,
Put it up.
look
There
at the
you go.
screen. Ask Ed what
ABASS.
ABASS.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh well.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Friend, I'm sorry. I'm not being disrespectful to you. I can't see the screen because ever since I switched,
Oh.
so I can't see. So I don't want the gentleman thinking I'm being a jerk. It's hard for me to tell right now. I don't know. If someone knows, please, because without me seeing it, I don't
Yeah,
know.
so what it is, Ed, he said ask Ed what ABASS is, and it's A period B period A period S period S period. So it must be an abbreviation of something.
Susan Everett says bad attitude species. Does that ring a bell?
I'm
No?
not going to lie to anyone. I'm not going to lie. I really don't know. Is that an
okay.
organization?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is that an organization?
I don't recognize it necessarily.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wait, American Breeders. Is it an American Breeders Associate, something like that? That's the only thing I can. I really don't know, and I'm
hey,
Yeah.
Richard, give us a little more information on that so we can help you out, or we can figure out what it is. Yeah.
I'm the type of person, if I don't know something, I own it. I don't like giving people wrong information.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. There ain't no shame in my game.
Is it American Breeders Association, something like that?
And that A could just be, like what is a BASS? Which
Yeah,
would be
like,
a-
and then
Hold on. What is it again?
BASS.
Larry.
He's gonna ask his buddy. I think maybe the partners in the back there.
All right,
but,
we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, we had a
Just
couple
hopped
other
in.
people pop in. So Cheryl
Yeah.
Smith, what's up? Howdy. Ben Sharp, I saw him show up there. What's up, Ben? And then Henry, are you okay? Are you all safe there? I hope you're doing well, man.
He's driving home from work. Patty's Aquatics
Oh,
hopped
yeah.
in. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, Patty? What's up?
So I know what this is. You're gonna laugh.
Oh, okay.
All right.
My business partner. That's him. He got an award for best Aquarius support with our club.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
Oh.
Dude, you just totally blew my mind. I'm like, what the heck is this person talking
Like, what's going on?
And it turns out it's my business partner, and he's here at the house, and he yells down the steps. I'm like, you just saw me making a fool of myself in front of people. You could have just walked down the steps and told me.
No, he just wanted to see you sweat, man.
Oh, God.
Ooh,
So this
that's
is what
nice.
he got. This is what this is. So it's best Aquarius support staff. So he got that from our club 2 years ago. I'm like, what the heck?
Okay. Well, that's
Oh,
awesome.
very nice. Well, congrats.
So
Richard.
see, I guess I'm not a complete moron because I had no idea what that was.
Just bass. Just bass.
Hey, if anyone's not interested in goodies, they're surely getting the entertainment between balloons and.
Yeah, that's the point, man. We try to keep it live around here. Try to have fun.
So yeah, then Ed, I guess I mean if you wanna flip that camera around and show us some fish, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I
Is
absolutely do that. So one of the things I will apologize for, my lighting is super bright here, so we may get a good bit of glare, but you'll be able to see the fish. But yeah, I'm cool.
okay.
So
And
Let me
now,
put you on solo.
yeah, and now real quick, is there a reason you turn the air off? Is that just for the noise?
yeah, because I'm old and I'll hear bubbling and I'll see your mouths moving.
Okay.
So yeah, so my Air pump isn't loud, but I do a lot of pressure going into my tanks.
Uh-huh.
So the bubbles will just, I won't be able to hear you guys at all.
Okay.
Okay, Branton, so here's the first one you'll recognize.
Hey.
Yeah.
So these are the Iliodon first, and then these are the trout hoodie.
Yeah, I've been wanting these for a long time because to me, you know, I grew up playing in the creeks and stuff a lot, playing in the swamp and fishing with my friends, and these just remind me of a fish that I would catch rod and reel. You know, obviously a lot smaller, but they just remind me of like a little bass or something like that, you know, that I would catch as a kid.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting those for a long time, and again, I really appreciate you know, working out that deal with me. That was sweet.
Sure. So here is, and I'm amazed they're out. These guys right here. Now I don't recall their scientific name right now, but these are the bulldog goodid. These guys.
Oh, for sure. My buddy was talking about these.
So these get to be about 6 inches long.
Oh, nice.
And they're a high predator. So.
Is that the Perugia?
No, Perugia is a Posilia. So,
okay.
Give me a minute. It is Allophorus robustus. So that's the bulldog. Now these guys are right here. Scyphia francese. This is one of the fish I told you that was extinct in the wild and brought back by aquarists.
Okay.
All right. So hey, Kyle, remember I was telling you about my Zogoneticus tequila in full dress?
Yes,
breeding?
sir. I can't wait.
Here's what you'll see once they go into full dress. And there's no male, now, of course. Here we go. Here's the male.
Nice.
There's the male right.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So orange. Oh my God, I love it. Love it.
So I do a couple oddball live bearers.
Oh, for sure.
This is, and of course they all run. So you're going to laugh. I'm trying. Oh, here we go. I can see better now.
I was gonna say I don't know when the last time you fed them is, but maybe you know you can entice them out with some food.
I just spent a little. What it is, they're not used to like a camera, and they're
yeah.
But I swear fish see the camera as an eye, like a giant eye. They don't like cameras for some reason.
Yeah, they're in the back. This is a breeding project I'm working on right now at Corey's.
Okay.
These are Ogowensis.
Those are good looking.
Yeah, they're sharp fish. I'll show you. No, here's one everyone goes nuts over. These are long fin.
Okay, I think Lush and Salty recently just came out with a video kind of spotlighting those guys in one of his tanks, and they're really pretty.
Yeah, those guys are just starting to spawn for me. I'm gonna look, see if any of the Cracodons. Here's a species I work with. This is Resolene. These guys get to be about 4 inches long.
Okay.
They're big jumpers, though. You have to watch. That's the one thing to remember with a lot of goodies. They're big jumpers. So what I do, so this is that PV. I forget what it's called. That stuff you use for like.
It's like the needle point mesh.
Yeah. So what I do with that, I put that over the top. Goodies have to have a lot of air. They have to have a lot of airflow.
How do you get that needle point mesh from Boeing?
Hold on. I do composite over the top like that.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. Because yeah, my problem is I've tried to use that stuff in the past before as the lids, and yeah, I always get the Boeing and it just falls into the tank. So okay.
There's Los Pinos. That's a male.
That's a good looking fish.
Took me 6 years to find it, and I really have to thank the people from the American Live Bearers Association for helping me find that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's one of the good things about getting involved with an association is you can find stuff. So there's only, from my understanding, there's only so many people breeding these fish. So my goal is to really build their numbers.
Uh-huh.
So when you breed a fish like that, do you cull at all for color? Like, are you trying to
No.
like? Are you like a Greg Sage kind of guy like that? Like,
So
where you
here's
kinda
what
get
it is.
those-
So here's what I do. First off, as long as the fish is healthy, I keep it, because you have to remember these fish are critically endangered.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
So here's the black prince again. This is a colony of black prince. So I do have a couple lines that I work with right now that I'm developing, but they're completely separate from all my other fish. I'm actually, there's another Los Pinos. I'm actually working on a bloodline of gold Iliodon furcidens. It showed up, so with any type of
Ooh.
fish, a mutation naturally occurs. This is the lateralis. This is Cracodon lateralis.
All right.
A mutation will naturally occur. Okay, so what I'm doing with them, I separated it out from my other lines. It's still Iliodon furcidens. I'm not hybridizing them, but I want to working on that color to see if I can develop the gold in it. Sort of like what Greg did with his Iliodon furcidens. So his Iliodon furcidens have a little bit more yellow. So that's just selective color breeding. It's not hybridizing. You know, a lot of people get that confused. It's not hybrid. It's just selective breeding for color. I have a couple lines I'm doing that with, but for the most part with these fish, as long as they're healthy, that's all I worry about. So.
And that, yeah, I definitely understand that 100%. And I definitely didn't expect the cull, quote unquote, to be like getting rid of it. More of like, I don't know if you were just, putting them into a different tank or whatever. And that seems like it's kind of like what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
there was one bloodline I got a while back, and when I got it, they looked great, but when they started dropping their fry, the fry were misshapen. And what was happening, the adults were not getting the nutrition they needed. So you need to remember, the babies have an umbilical cord and feed from the mother. So if they're not getting the nutrients they need, that's what happens. So for a year and a half with that species, I was culling 75% of the babies.
Yeah. Oof.
Trying to find some more of the. We'll just go to a couple others then. So this one right here was the very first Goodiad I ever got, and I got them from my buddy Greg Sage. These are Amica splendens, and this is the one I said that it's in the making, that probably within the next year they'll be extinct.
And you're going to be one of the holdouts over there, keeping them from disappearing completely. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And these are my Tauri. These are the Antiniobius tauri. They're called the blue-tailed Goodiad. Oh, and the plastic canvas I showed you guys, you can actually buy a stiffer version of that, and that's what I get. So.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I've seen on Fish Easy, if you ever watch him or have heard of him, he has it's called a grill mesh, I think it is, and it's a black version, and I think it's a little stiffer. That might be something to look into too.
Yeah. See, the one thing I should mention too is Greg taught me this. Greg doesn't recommend glass lids for Goodiads because they're cold water fish and glass can hold heat. Oh, these were the Scyphia multipunctata I was telling you about.
Yeah, so I love those.
So these are from Tangisaquaro, okay? So you'll see these. There's a male right there. Now, I have this species. It's the same species, but it's a different location. There's the male for these. See how much more black?
Oh, wow. That's like a different, yeah.
So that's why I was saying, so if you didn't keep that location information, you'll see the difference. So one of the things I hypothesize, are they darker because of the environment they're in, whatever that they adapted to?
Yeah.
And these I'm working with, this is the black Goodiad, Xenotoca melanosoma, and I've got some young here. They're out, but the adults tend to hide. So. And then I showed you guys the Bologna socks.
Mm-hmm.
This was a pet project. This was something and when I got babies, I totally geeked out.
So now,
Dude,
how big are those gonna get?
About 7 inches.
Okay. So how big is the female that dropped all those?
She's right now going on 6.5 to 7 inches.
Okay, where's she at?
Well, her tank, of course, her light blew out today, and I have to replace the light above her. So it's
Okay.
and she's hiding in the back. I tried to show you a little while ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
see if I here when we go back over. So remember me telling you guys about the red-tailed goodie that there was 3 species split.
Mm-hmm.
This is lion's eye. So
Okay.
this one comes from Rio Tamazula.
Oh, I like that blue.
Yeah, someone was saying that they have lion's eye from a certain location up earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see if I
Oh
can
yeah.
find-
So the thing, like I said, so in that genre, now here are the Doadrilae. They're a little different, and these guys come from San Marcos. And I'm trying to find you a male.
Yeah, we have
There we go.
MC got his from Rio Tamazula.
Yeah, right. So that one there definitely is the lion's eye. But you
Yeah.
can look almost exactly the same. I'll show you my big boys. There's my dolphin.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at those lips. I love it.
They're just beasts. They just want to eat all the time.
Yeah,
They look like they would.
yeah, definitely.
My friends come over and laugh because it's not that I dislike cichlids. I'm not really into them.
Yeah.
But
I like apistos. Apistos are cool. Not the big ones though.
Yeah. Oh, the apistos. I tried breeding apistos and couldn't do it. The water here. I'm coming over to see if I can find girlfriend. Here
If
she
you
is.
want to try one, try cockatoides, man. I bet you can get them to breed.
So
Let's see if I
Ed,
can get her.
Ed, how often do you ship stuff to Florida?
I do shipping on Mondays and Tuesdays. There she is. If you can see her face.
Yep, yeah, I can see her. Definitely. Yeah, she's a big girl.
She's 7 inches. So here's
Yeah,
the thing.
good.
I put a couple. Where are they? I put a couple little feeders in for her. She's had them in there for a month. They're like pets for her now.
But no, we've got Henry asking,
Yeah.
I guess, how much it would cost to ship to Florida. That's why I asked how often you did.
No. So okay, here's what I do. I've been shipping priority. I've had no problems priority. So medium box is 20, large box is 25. The only thing I recommend
Not bad.
is that you pick them up at the post office when they get there. I don't deliver to your door. And the reason for that is they're cold water fish. So if they sit out in the sun all day while you're at work, they're not going to be alive when you get them. So what I do,
Mhm.
I pack them in breather bags. So with those breather bags, there's gas and oxygen exchange at all times. And if it's really hot, I pack them in ice. Or
What?
if it starts to get cool, I pack them in here.
Well, sweet. Yeah. So Henry, you saw that link earlier, so you can check out his website if you are looking to get into anything that he is offering here. Yeah, Henry. Earlier, you were confused because you came in after we had mentioned you, and we were just bragging about how you have some mad work ethic, Henry. That's all we were talking about. And then there's Ed's website again.
And like I said, if anyone, for some reason, I guess because for so many years I used Facebook for my business, I usually post on there every day. And that again is just Ed's Aquatic Exotics. If anyone wants to do that, and I'll post some basic stuff that I do throughout the day. I'll be the first to say I need to be a little bit more diligent about doing updates to the website. But I get most of my stuff through Facebook and on Get Deals. But I need to focus more on doing the availability on my website. So one thing, to me, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I've had a few people that didn't understand. When I do my availability for my fish, it's color-coded. So there's listings of everything I have available at the time. If it's in orange, it's not available right now. If it's green, it's available. I explain that on the website, but for some reason, people just don't get it. So to me, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean,
But
colors are easy.
yeah, well, apparently not. But another thing too, I'm really cool with people emailing me. I would much rather, if you have a question, I'm the type of person I want to make sure you succeed with them. I'm not about here's your fish, give me your money. I'm about making sure that you have fish that you can enjoy for a long time. So and I'm the type of person I stay in contact with people after they get fish for me just to see how they're doing.
Yeah, which I personally enjoy. I think it's a huge plus. I mean,
Well, I think I never want someone to feel they've got a fish and they have a question, and I don't want them to feel they can't reach out and ask a question. Because one of the things, too, and I don't want this to come across narcissistic, there's a lot of bad information out there.
No, there is.
I'm the type, and I'm happy to share my experience. I'm not saying I know everything. I learn something new every day. But I'm the type of person, when I breed fish, I'm willing to share and share my experience, what works, what doesn't, and share, how I keep them and how they thrive. So and I think that's what's helped build my business for what it is. And because I know what I look for when I'm getting fish. So, but yeah, I'm sorry, what was that gentleman's name again?
That's Henry Figaro. He's Aquarium Fantasy. That's the guy. I think that's who you're asking about, right? The guy that was looking to buy fish.
Yeah.
Henry, yeah, I'm going to be. Anything you're interested in, feel free to email me. You're more than welcome, and I'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, he had mentioned that he's going to be interested in Goodyears, but he is actually in Florida, so he's dealing with that aquarium or the hurricane.
The hurricane right now, yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to be waiting a little bit, but he'll be reaching out, I think.
Sure. So yeah, like I said, I'll be shipping all of October, and depending on the weather, into November. But a few weeks before the holidays, I stop, and I don't start shipping again until about mid-March, depending on the weather.
So Zen asks, is the email on your Facebook e.motes@live.com the best way to reach you?
It is, or you can private message me through Facebook, or you can email me right through my website.
Okay, for sure. So I will. Jesus, I gotta try to remember to put all of these links into the description if I don't already have them on there.
Sorry, buddy.
No worries.
Yeah, that's kind of my bad too. I guess I should have brought that up.
My goal over the winter is to build the website as an information source other than just what I have available, so that people can understand better on how to take care of them.
Are you listed on FishFam Link at all?
No.
Even though you don't do, like, I don't know.
Is that a Facebook group?
No, it's kind of for YouTubers, but since you're on YouTube,
I'm actually surprised we haven't seen the bot in the chat yet.
Yeah, well, it's they're going through things, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hit or miss right now. But this is a little ad that my girlfriend threw together, and basically this is it's FishFam. Have you heard of it at all, or? No, not at all. All right, so FishFam Link is an amazing place. It's basically like every fish tuber that you can imagine, every fish YouTuber information is like on there. They spotlight, I think, aquarium clubs as well and different stuff like that. And you can submit your information and then people can reach out. And since you're someone that sells fish, I feel like there's a spot for you on the website as well.
Okay.
But I like to, if you go back, you can screen, or you can get the link right there with the QR code if you want to screenshot that or whatever.
Yeah, Zen put the link in the chat too, and it doesn't require a YouTube channel. I mean, it's not.
I have a YouTube channel. I just haven't done any work with it.
Yeah,
Jeff,
and that's what she means. It's not a requirement that you be like a big time YouTuber or anything. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
just a viewer, that's perfectly okay too.
yeah, I'm working on some videos. Jeff's like, Ed, you need to get Jeff Pelham says, Ed, you need to get some videos out there. So
Oh, for sure.
I'm actually working on it. So I'm the type of person I like to give information. So
Mhm.
I'm working on a video right now on the Krakadons that I showed you guys, and when I drop it, it's going to talk about their locations. It's going to talk about husbandry, how to feed them, how to successfully breed them. Those are the kinds of videos I like to do. So
Yeah,
I
and see, I think that would be really cool, to go to Ed Motz's YouTube page, and if you wanted a species highlight on a certain goodied, I mean, you got you got it right there, and you can watch it. It's very
yeah
informative.
yeah.
I
Dude,
So
I think that'd be really
I have
nice.
learned so much just in this hour and 40 minutes we've been talking, man. Like
it's
I
been
feel,
that long.
yeah, no,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've had fun too, man. Like I've really enjoyed this conversation. So you were definitely someone that needs to be uh yeah, you need to be involved in this community, man. People are gonna love you for sure.
So if my buddy Sue Everett is still on, Sue can tell you. So I'm going to be on. I'm very uncomfortable doing live streams. I'm pretty much an
What?
introvert. I'm pretty much, and she could tell you if she's still on, she can validate. I'm pretty much an introvert. I'm a functional extrovert.
I
So
got
for
this.
me, I feel more comfortable doing edited videos that I have control over, because with
Uh-huh.
live stream anything can happen. Um, but I'm really starting to get the bug for YouTube. And
Yeah.
Greg Sage has been telling me for years I needed to do it, and I've been shying away from it. But I've got a YouTube channel right now. It's got a few videos, but I really do want to build it, and that's one of the things I'm going to be doing is species highlights. I'm going to do,
Yep.
like I said, I'm dropping hopefully in the next week. I still have to do the voiceovers. I'm going to do a profile on Krakadons. The next is going to be all the Scythias, and then the Xenotokas, and that way you have a profile and you have a general idea how to take care of all of them. Because I find
Mhm.
it interesting from what I'm finding on YouTube with Goodeids. At least I haven't seen any videos yet where anyone
Dude.
like has a profile that explains to someone who's new to Goodeids on how to take care of them.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like nothing. Yeah.
yeah.
We could really use you in the community, like 100%.
Well, I
Like
appreciate that. I appreciate
yeah. Yeah, we have
Well, it's also nice too, you selling them. If anybody's got questions, not that you wouldn't talk to them and explain things, but you could
No.
also use that as a resource just to be like, hey, I really go in depth into this specific species, and if you'd like a visual with the information at the same time, here it
Right.
is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to do. So when I met Greg Sage 6 years ago, and I decided to do this, I kind of wanted to do it the same way he does. So if any of you have ever emailed my buddy Greg Sage,
I
you'll
have
get
actually.
you'll get a big narrative a mile long where he'll go in depth and help
Yep.
you. And that's what and that meant a lot to me when I was learning. And I want people to enjoy their fish. And so like for me, I remember as a kid, the aquarium hobby was really popular. Just about and our hobby is dying because people are getting the wrong information.
Mhm.
So I want people to enjoy this hobby because I love this hobby and it gives so much joy to me. Plus, I feel it's important that we work with critically endangered fish. So it's my passion, and I totally geek out talking about them. So you said we've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes. I had no idea.
Dude.
Yeah, I had no idea either. It's been great.
Yeah, well, it's cool because I have not emailed Greg Sage, but I've watched a few videos about him. And the second you said something, you had said something about, I think it was you didn't mind if people emailed you. No, it was the aftercare. You sell fish and you reach out to make sure that they're, and I remembered him saying that. in one of his videos, in one of the tours of his fish room, and he was like, "Yeah, I do. This is something that I really believe in." And today, all right, today I was dealing with a customer at my stand. She was a lady that had bought guppies from multiple big box stores.
Is that the one you didn't have a net for?
It might have been. It might have been. Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So she had bought from so many stores, and the fish just kept dying, and it was only guppies she had issues with. She's like, she had a tank filled with I think it was like rasboras and the traditional beginner tank, just a bunch of different stuff. But all those things had been fine, but never the guppies just never did good, right?
I can actually explain the reason why, but I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Go ahead and finish.
No. I mean, probably just the import chain beating up some inbred guppies and.
Well, no. Here's what it is with any live bearer, and I can say this. I used to own a store. Okay,
right.
I can say this. So, and I'm not bashing stores, but I want to give people the right information. When stores are buying live bearers, let's say guppies, they're getting 25 to 30 fish in a bag yay big. You have to remember, these commercial farms, they're not purging fish. So like some of us that purge our fish so their gut is clean, so they're not excreting in the water, they don't have time for that. So they're not purging. But another thing to remember, a fish's respirations releases nitrogenous waste into the water too, and increases the ammonia. So when you have that many, there's a thumbs up. So when there's that many fish in a bag, the ammonia levels go through the roof. When those ammonia levels go through the roof in that bag, it does tissue damage to the fish. Mm-hmm. It does issues to the respiratory systems and stuff. So what I did, now this was my choice when I had my store. I had them break down my shipping. So instead of putting 20 or 30 fish in a bag, I would have them put 10 in a bag. But you know what I had to do? I had to pay extra shipping for that because they ship by the weight. I chose to do that. I chose to do that. And that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing. There are some really great shops out there. And I never beat down anyone that gets anyone in the hobby. But here's the reason why so many people fail at live bearers through the commercial chain is because of that. These fish are, a lot of like guppies, platies, they're packed into a bag. And you have to remember, ammonia does severe damage to a fish. And they're breathing that in, and it's causing respiratory issues, tissue issues, stuff, and they don't thrive. Now, with that being said, those of us that ship, we're purging our fish and all that. Branton, you saw how I pack. I'll put 2 fish at most in a breather bag. And that breather bag has gas and oxygen exchange. Believe it or not, those fish could live in that bag for 7 days.
I believe it. Especially being a cold water fish.
And all that. So that's the thing to remember. So those of you that ship fish, even if you're purging the fish's gut, you have to remember, even respiration causes ammonia. So it's really being very cognizant of how many you're putting in a bag. But that's why so many live bearers don't do well in the commercial chain.
That was pretty much what I was coaching her on, was like the idea that, I mean, they just get super beat up. They're bred. They're in these flow through systems. So the idea that the chance of them getting sick is like through the roof because they're in contact with every fish in the store, basically.
Yep.
And so I'm like, you know what? I cut her a good deal on the guppies that I brought. And I was like, if you have any issues with these, you reach out to me because I will be very surprised. But I mean, I also explained the idea that I'm like, you could have something, ever present in your water if you brought in these fish from other places and you never really cleared it out. But
well, here's what I'm thinking. She has rasboras that are doing very well.
Yeah, they could be part of the problem too.
I'm curious to what her pH is.
Yeah.
If her pH if it's under 7.5, that may be an issue, because if live bearers don't have a higher pH in hard water, they'll go into organ failure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
So years ago, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I used to import guppies.
When dinosaurs.
You know, and here's the thing: there are people that import guppies, and what I'm about to say, I am by no means discrediting anyone, but I will tell you my experience when I imported guppies. I was importing big volumes of guppies from Thailand. I was lucky. So my hopes when I brought them in was that the females dropped within the first weeks of me having
Yeah.
them. Because over in Thailand, when they're raising these fish, they're in highly salted, brackish, hard water.
Yep.
When they come to the States, if that water doesn't mirror them, they go into organ failure. I can look everyone in the eye, in the camera, and tell you, I was lucky if I didn't lose 50% of the stock I imported in the first week, I considered myself lucky. And it was because of how they're raised there. So
Yeah.
if those water parameters are not the same, so what I always told people, if you're going to get guppies, it's okay to get import guppies, but realize that it takes time for them to adjust. So when I got import guppies, I hoped that they dropped fry quick, and then I raised those fry into my water parameters and thrive. So if you're
Mhm.
looking at fish right now that that are doing well in the hobby in the clubs, some of the blue deltas and stuff that have recently been imported over the last few years, the offspring is what's doing well. The ones that are imported in, you'll luck out and you'll have some of them, but I tell people you want that drop of fry to raise in your water, and they do a lot better. And with that being said, I have a friend that imports guppies, and I think the world of him, and he does a really good job. And I'm not by any means discrediting people that import, but it's a thing to remember that a lot of these fish, when they're coming in from Thailand and all that, the water parameters are keeping them. And so when they're here, a lot of them, they go into organ failure and crash. So that's something to remember. So for me, I'm the type of like with Goodeids. Goodeids, once they accustom to your water, you'll see a progression in the color and stability of the fish over time. So my Amica splendens that I showed you, I'm probably 10 or 12 generations in now with them. They look totally different now than what they looked like when I first got them. And it's because they're accustomed to my water, and over time they adapt. It's the same with guppies too. So, but the thing with guppies is knowing the water parameters. And so that I kind of touch base with people with that on imports. And that can be with any import. I have friends that import fish. I have one friend that imports fish. He's like, if people know how much we lose in the first week, you have to buy in big volumes and all that. Because first off, let's face it, shipping is stressful. So they're coming from a country into ours, and then they're rebagged, and then they're shipped out again. That's stressful to begin with. Then if the water parameters don't mirror, that's the stuff that happens. So that kind of falls in with the import guppies too. So I don't mean to, I'm not meaning to bash commercial places and business and commercial stores. It's just being truthful. It's just my opinion. If you want quality live bearers, go to someone who breeds them. And if you can get them locally, that's even better because they're going to be pretty much accustomed to the water parameters, and it's going to be an easy transition.
I agree 100%.
All right, so we had a couple things here,
Yeah,
and then
which real quick, by the way, if you guys want to see how a shipment from Ed comes in, I did one of the very few videos I have on my channel is me unboxing Ed's order that I got of the trout Goodeids, and it's a good insight as to what you can expect. So
yeah, I appreciated that. You're the first person to do that. I really that really meant a lot.
Hey. Well, good job, Branton. Nice job, man. Very nice. This is the Iliad on first ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that put in the thing here right now. What the heck? Oh, wrong one. So what I was saying was, so we have an amazing group here. Like I was saying, awesome community. Zen Ginger is actually adding you into Fish Fam Link already. So all your
Okay,
information is
great. Thanks. Thank you.
yeah, you're going to be posted up in there. You'll have your own spot. You can use that to get notifications to any live streams you like, or start putting out stuff. Or to be honest, I don't know how it works. Like most of my stuff happens automatically. I just have live streams, so just whatever goes up there goes up there.
Yeah.
But for you, you might just have to mess with the website, go on there and see what you can do with it, and use start networking and stuff if you're looking for that.
Yeah, so I'm ready to take my business to the next level. I wanted to fine tune and hone in on some things so that I could excel at what I did. I wanted to really focus on my shipping practice, because let's face it, if I have a bad shipping practice, I don't have a business.
No.
So I tweaked a few things that work for me, and yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. Like I said, I realize to some people it may be a little inconvenient to pick up, but it's so much better. And doing that, so I'm like ready to take things to the next level. So.
See, I thought picking up at the post office was cool. I mean,
I agree.
Just, I mean, they're already getting shipped. I mean, if you can save any portion of that by just going to the post office and picking them up, I mean, right away, why not? And then the fact, like you said, that they're cold water species. I mean, in the off chance that somehow they get dropped off at, say, the wrong house, or because I get stuff to me all the time that's, my address, but not the right street. So it's the same number, but not the right street. I mean, you never know. So why not go pick them up?
Well, you'll find with me, I'm completely transparent about my business. So here's what happened a few years ago. I shipped out 2 pairs of Cracodon Audax, black prints. So I'll just be real with you. That was a few $100s. I explained to the person, please pick them up at the post office because I don't like them sitting outside in the heat. Oh, I agree. Okay, that's fine. Well, when they got to the post office, she called the post office and told them just to deliver them to her house. They sat outside for 8 hours while she was at work, and when she got home, they were all dead. And then she expected me to reimburse her. No, I'm just being real here. If I've done something wrong, absolutely, I will stand by my fish. But you expected me in a hot August day at 95-degree weather in your area, where they sat outside all day and they died. That's why I tell people, please. And here's the type, like, if you can't pick them up that day, I'll work with you so we can schedule something so that you can pick them up. And when I ship, I update you and I follow the tracking along with you. So I let you know it's shipped. I give you the tracking number. And on the day they're received at the post office, I let you know. So I'm with you the whole way. And that's just, I like it when people did that for me. So I can just kind of emulate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a full through and through sales process, man. Like
it is. It is, and because for me, I mean, any fish is important. Any life is important. But I take working with critically endangered fish seriously. So if I'm going to talk the talk, I have to walk the walk. So.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Well, all right. Well, we just hit the 2-hour mark, and I am not gonna lie, I am exhausted.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you either. My phone just went low power.
All right. Well,
real quick, why don't we answer Henry's question?
Oh yeah.
Which is
what do we got
how many aquariums does Ed recommend as far as like breeding one? So take one species of goodie, Ed, how many aquariums does that typically take up?
That's a good question. And I'll tell you what I do, but I have the space. So what I do, I do, so let's take the Cracodons.
Okay.
So with the Cracodons, I do a breeding colony. I'll do 2 males to 4 to 6 females. And I'll do a tank of a 20-gallon to a 29-gallon. So I have those fish. Those are the adults. When the female is ready to drop, I take the female out and put her in a 10-gallon. I let her drop her fry in that 10-gallon. So now that's 2 tanks. I'll take her out and I'll give her a tank to rest for a few weeks. one of the things people do with live bearers that really wears down the females is introducing them back to the males immediately. You have to give them that time to rest. And I give the female a week or two to rest before I introduce them back in with the males.
Okay.
And then as the Julies grow, I'll split them up into 3 different tanks. So in all actuality, if you have the space, 4 to 5 tanks of different of 10 gallons up to larger. And then when they get to a certain size, when they're getting larger, you need to get them like the trout goodheads. So the tank I just showed you a little while ago. So when I doing my trout goodhead grow outs, they're in 55s or 75s because they get to be pretty big, and you don't want to stunt their growth, and you'll be amazed at how quick they grow. But that's the one thing to remember too, is you want to give them enough space that their growth isn't going to be stunted. So in all like variable sizes, and like I said, because I'm fortunate enough to have the space, 4 to 5 tanks for each species. And one of the things I tell people, don't put all your adults in one tank, because anything can happen at one time where a tank crashes. And with a critically endangered fish, if a tank crashes, you want to have another tank of adults somewhere in the backdrop where you can use from, because that has actually happened with me. I had a tank of tequila completely crash. They were perfectly fine one day. The next day, they were all dead. Now, if those were the only tequila I had, I would have lost that entire bloodline. But because I have a couple tanks of them, that ensures my bloodline. So I always tell people. And also, I tell people this, even with my fish, quarantine those fish for at minimum 2 weeks. Working with fish and shipping is stressful, and things can go up. And I tell people, everyone should have at least one quarantine tank in their house, because for the money we put into our tanks, not to have a quarantine tank, it could be a big mistake. Because like I said, I make it a point to do my very best to ship a healthy fish to everyone. But we all know that stress can bring on ick in a fish, and if you understand that disease, it's caused by stress and the immune system being suppressed. That fish could be perfectly fine here, and I ship them, and then within stress and your
Damn it, we lost him a little bit.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just like humans, man. You get stressed out as a human. I
can honestly say it has never happened to me. I've never had a fish get sick during my shipping. But if it would ever happen, I would absolutely take care of that situation. But I tell people, please quarantine your fish, even the ones I ship you, just to be safe.
Now, see, over the years, I've figured out a way to avoid the quarantine, and that is to just set up a new tank for that fish.
I was gonna say, I'm like, every tank I have is a quarantine tank, basically.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. You know, I do species only tanks, but I can do that because I have the space. If you want to do community of goodeids, just remember, a lot of them can hybridize. So you want to mix fish that cannot hybridize. So if you're doing Scythias, you don't want to do a couple different species of Scythias, because most of this can interbreed. And that would be really sad for that to happen because of a critically endangered fish. But you can mix a Xenotoka with Iliodon, and you're fine with that. So just know, if you're going to do a community goodie tank, make sure you're doing fish that can't hybridize.
And that's kind of what I've got going with my Iliodon. So I got rainbow shiners and the Iliodons mixed, both new species to me.
Yeah.
And they seem to be doing great. And obviously I would be really surprised if something there happened in between them. But yeah, I mean, they're two, live bearer and egg layer. So there's no chance.
And the interesting thing is, the water parameters are perfect for both. So the rainbow shiner is a native, and the Iliodon comes from Mexico, but their water parameters are so similar. That's a great mix.
Yeah.
And what's interesting with the Iliodon furcidans, when they get larger, they're not predatory. So, you may get one once in a while that picks, but they're not an aggressive predator. So that should be a good mix for you.
Yeah.
And you guys are giving me some ideas, because I'm going to be building a 35 soon, and I'm probably gonna make it a well, I'm definitely gonna be putting the tequilas in there, but I'm gonna have to put some more stuff in there. So I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe I stack another live bear in there.
There you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
So here, one of the things some people do is they'll put if they have a big enough tank, they'll put Goodeids. So they'll put the Goodeids Day family with Poecilia. So it could be, let me think. Some of the Limias. A lot of friends of mine mix the Limias with them. But the thing to remember is, like, when you get fry, I like to take the females out in situations like that, because when you get fry, you have to wait till they get so big before you realize what they are. And then
Yeah.
a lot of the wild fish look similar, especially the females. So that's what I tell people with Goodeids. Every species, the females look exactly the same. So you have to really keep an eye on that, so that because if you're like, the Crocodon females and the Xenotoka females look exactly the same. So
Okay.
so you have to remember that too when you're mixing stuff like that. Although they would not hybridize, those females look exactly the same.
So
So
you
that's
could be
Mhm.
trying to pair stuff up and get babies, and it's never gonna happen if you grab the wrong female.
Exactly. So what I tell people, perfect practice is doing a species only tank.
Yeah.
Perfect practice and stuff.
Yeah. And I might actually end up keeping them just tequilas in that big old tank, because it would be cool to see a bunch of them in a like.
So
But I don't know.
what's really cool with Goodeids? So I have a couple of 60 breeders. The change in the behavior when they have that space to move is remarkable. So
Okay.
my tower eye were in 29 gallons, which is ample enough for them. But when I put them into a 60, the change in behavior, it was, and the color. So the tower eye were the blue tails that had the powder blue tails. I don't know if you remember me showing you. When they were in the 29 gallons, their tails were a muted blue. When they got the bigger space, you can visually see those blue tails now, and they're a lot more active because they've got a lot more space and it's more natural for them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we got to get you hooked up with some Goodeids.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
I'll be keeping an eye on you, man. And I do want to say this. This is probably, and I don't mean this as a slight to any of the other guests, because I've loved everyone. Adam, I've had Benny, they're all friends of mine. Jeff, we've had, and then Branton too. Dude, this has probably been the most fun I've had in a conversation. You have been a great guest to have on. You have a guest spot anytime you want here, man. If you're ever free, you want to hop on and come talk with us, you always got a home here.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
No, and
everyone, my friends laugh. They're like, "This is a whole new side of you," because I am. I used to do talks and workshops years ago, and I kind of dropped off the face with it and got real uncomfortable doing it. So my friends are laughing at me, and I'm sure some of them are right now. Like, he looks like he's doing fine. I used to do a lot of workshops across the country talking about parrot genetics, and I've done a few talks with aquariums. But I dropped off the face of the earth with it about 10 or 15 years ago. So this is kind of like jumping back in the saddle again.
Yeah, we're bringing you back in, man. Full force.
Yeah.
This is Ed's comeback right now. You guys are witnessing it live.
It's either a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. And I brought balloons. Come on, I brought.
Balloons. Yeah, dude. It was meant to be. Well, all right. Let's say goodbye to everybody here. We'll wrap this up. Yeah, so make sure you check out Ed's website there. We left the links in there. I'm gonna try to put it in the description. If it's not in there, it's edsaquaticsexotics.com. I think I got that right.
Wait, no, there's no S after aquatic. It's Ed's Aquatic, but they'll find it. It's okay.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's probably what I messed up, because when I typed it in, I couldn't find it, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then Zen got it to work, so that's probably what I messed up the first time. Yeah. All right, we got it one more there.
I gotta be difficult. What can I say?
It's got to be that guy, don't you? No. All right. Much love to everybody, and we're taking off.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Thanks everybody
guys,
that came out tonight.
Thanks for having me. This was
No.
probably the most comfortable I've been out of the 4 I've done.
Yeah, good.
Well,
I'm
sweet.
glad.
Thank you. That does mean a lot. All right. See you guys.